are falling, that they see a number of trucks moving outside Kitui, then they don't see value for that money. If you don't have facts,
in some days there is no truck.
Really?
It's not really. Really.
So for those of us who, I will confess that I might, from where I sit, I don't have visibility on the sand harvesting activities in Kitui. But the numbers here imply that on average you collect from 5 trucks a day. Now, so for the people of Kitui and the county as vast as it is it the reality that it's just about 5 trucks that transport sand? Or is it that some trucks pay and that money is never recorded? Or are there waivers? Or maybe you just decided there's a waiver. So perhaps there could be an explanation, which you need to get from the CEO. Do you agree that on average it's about 5 trucks a day that carry sand? Because that's what you have reported.
Chair, because the CEO is responding on behalf of the governor, maybe you need to ask the governor if the figures make sense.
Yes, Governor?
That's 5 trucks per day. Does it make sense to you, Governor?
on point of information, before the governor answers, if you look at note number 27, waivers and exemption, the governor has given a waiver of whooping 87,113,416, majorly on penalties. That's a lot of money. Maybe you can tell us why 87. Are we offending somebody? That's why they are switching off the lights or something like that. 87,113,460. Note number 27.
I think, Chair.
No, I'm trying to correlate with the question that the chair asked. Could it
you know, the governor will tell you they give waivers on penalties so that people can pay their.
These guys hundreds of millions.
Yes, the systems are back. Comments by Senator Sifura shall not go on record, and I shall not amplify them. Please proceed. Okay. So do we take this back to the governor? We deal with this matter of cess, because the picture we are getting is that you are only collecting from Governor Tosich.
Chair, let me request the Director of Revenue to explain how they collect revenue relating to sand, scooping and transportation.
Please restrict yourself to your financial statements and the numbers that you have reported here. So if you have the opportunity, make the explanation, but it must be within the confines of what you have reported here. Because that's why we are here. Okay, the systems are back. Again, we apologize because this is not a very normal occurrence. I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that Kitui is here. I think it's just... systems. Governor.
Chair, can you direct that your comments be expunged from the
from the record?
No, I was not casting any aspersions, but yeah, I think it's just a technical problem internally. Governor.
Chair, I requested that you allow the Director of Revenue to tell this committee and all of us how revenue arising from sand scooping and transportation is collected in the case of Kitui, and how much is it for the year in question.
Okay, proceed.
Through the chair, I first want to clarify that the year in question, that is 2024-2025, at the beginning of the year, there was no act regulating sand. But in the midway, Kitui County passed Kitui County River Basins and Sand Utilization and Conservations Act. So initially, for the half part of the year, there was no regulation on how to collect revenue from sand sales. And after implementation, there were formation of committee.
Sorry,
I want to explain.
Yes.
Now, when you go to note number 10,
order.
Yeah.
So you're saying for half the year, you never collected anything on sand?
We were collecting, but it was not regularized. It was so difficult to collect.
So where was the money collected going to?
It was going to revenue accounts. Now, that's why I'm saying note number 10.
Order. So that's what we are seeing in note number 10.
Yeah, number 10, transportation fees.
Okay.
Yes.
Proceed.
Now, after it was implemented, there was the issue of formation of cooperatives, sand groups. So I was explaining that the sales we collect from sand sales is in note number 10 under transportation fees.
Yeah, go ahead and help us understand the average number of trucks that are paying cess. Because you have brought it to transportation charges.
It depends with the period. Most of the times it is between maybe 10 to 20.
The rate?
But I'm not sure.
Where is the rate set? Is it in the Finance Act?
It is in the Finance Act.
So on average, the SACCOs are paying how much per truck?
The registration fee is 10,000 per truck, registration fees.
For what duration?
1 year.
For 1 year?
Yes.
So they pay, once you are paid the 10,000, there's no other amount of money you pay throughout the year?
Yeah, no other amount you pay throughout the year, only says. Only says at the barrier point.
Yes, that's a cess we are interested in because you are describing something different. You are describing transportation charges levied at 10,000 per truck. We are talking about the revenue coming from the sand that has been harvested, a natural resource in Kitui.
Registration has not yet started. It's being done this financial year. During the year 24-25, there was no registration going on. They start in this financial year.
So what are you telling us? That your financial statements do not fairly represent the state of affairs when it comes to collection of cess?
We were collecting cess then. There were no registration because we did not have SACCOs in place.
What are you saying? Do we take these numbers as authoritative, or you are putting a disclaimer that there were significant challenges? You have said half the year you are not collecting. You are saying registration is not complete. You are saying it has started this financial year. What is the conclusion as to the numbers that are here?
The conclusion is that now we are collecting revenue from sand because we have the...
Not now. The numbers that are here, these are the numbers for 24-25. What is the conclusion on these numbers?
About revenue from sand sales?
Yes.
It is 12 million.
So in your assessment, it is a true and fair representation of revenue coming from that stream.
Yes.
Okay, honorable members, if it's true and fair, it is for us to test whether 5 trucks a day makes sense or whether there's need for further investigation.
Chair, allow me to engage with the lady. So I will go with the numbers that she has given us. So you have told us, madam, that on average you have between 10 and 20 trucks
So give him
ferrying sand from Kitui. That's you're saying that on record and under the governor's oath. Is that on record and under the governor's oath? I mean, give her the mic. Give her the mic. So you're telling the people of Kitui that you only do like between 10 and 20 trucks ferrying sand from their rivers each day. Is that on record?
Mr. Senator, I've said it depends on the days. There are some days when there are few lorries because of the rain, but on average it's between 10 and 20.
In a day?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take that. So let's assume that it's 20. Yeah, let's go with the average. It's 20 trucks per day. So if each truck is paying cess of 5,000 every day, yeah, you're going with the number, the figure that you have given us, right? So per day that will be how much? Somebody help us with the calculation.
So you're saying?
Saying every day is 20. It's only 20 trucks according to her, and they are paying 5,000 shillings assess. So it's 100,000, right?
100,000.
100,000.
So 100,000, multiply that by 365. How much is that?
36.5 million.
Madam, do you want to revise your answer or you want to stick to it?
And in fact, Wambua, to make your answer better, what I've done is I've said 20 times 5,000 times 20 days. I've given them 10 days off. Let's imagine that nothing happens, is on a Sunday, they're in charge, and times 12, it comes to 24 million.
Madam, I'm still engaging with you.
Yes, through the chair. That's why I started by explaining that there was no act regulating sand during this financial year.
Okay.
That's where the rate is not.
So you're not collecting?
Selling.
You are not collecting?
We are not what?
You are not collecting before that time, right?
We were collecting, but it was so challenging.
What do you mean?
Can you explain to us what special thing the Act introduced to make it easy to collect cess? Because all I see counties doing is tying a rope across and putting spikes on the road. What special thing did the Act introduce?
There was a legal way approved by the Assembly for sand collection.
Yeah, so what is it in terms of the physical collection of the cess? What provision of that Act brought about this efficiency that you are saying was not there before the Act? Did it introduce electronic collection? What special thing came through that Act?
Through the chair, there was also electronic collection, but still we are able to know the number of people who transport sand, and through that law they comply.
Chair, let me just paint this picture so that everybody is
Okay.
on the same page.
Give us a background and then
Yes.
we can also get.
Yeah, let me paint this picture,
Just paint.
and the governor can correct me if I'm wrong. In Kitui County, and madam, you need to listen to this because there will be questions coming through. In Kitui County, on an average day, there is no day that there will be less than 100 trucks ferrying sand from our rivers. No single day. And you know, you are the CEO talking about Kanda and a small one. You know, I understand where it's coming from. There's a word we have for it in Kitui. We call it kasau. You know, kasau is a small animal. You know, a cow. So it's a truck, and then it has another another container, the same size with the truck at the back, and they are trailers.
Yes,
they are not canters, they are trailers.
Yes.
They're semi-trailers. So 100 of them at the minimum every day. Now, Chair, and I want the lady to tell us whether she is part of this cartel, because now we are getting deep into this matter.
Correct.
Every day, each of those trucks, when they carry sand from Kitui, they pay 6,000 Kenya shillings to a cartel. That 6,000 shillings, they are given a receipt of 1,000 Kenya shillings.
So 5,000.
Now that happens at a place called Sia for the trucks ferrying sand the side of Mwini. Now, from Sia there is another checkpoint at Kanyonyo where county government officials are based. And when the trucker arrives at the base, they show the receipt of 1,000, just demonstrate the receipt of 1,000, and they're allowed to proceed. They don't pay any cess to the county government of Kitui. So the bitterness, the chairman, with the people of Kitui that I carry on my shoulders, is that we are building all the cities in this country, beginning with this one.
Correct.
I actually want to believe that more than 70% of the sand that was used to build this building came from Kitui County. So we are building cities with our sand.
This was,
We are not getting a single cent as a county from that sand. And most worrying is that we are turning rivers, and I say the governor can correct me if I'm wrong, we are turning our county into a desert with every truck that ferries that sand. Because what they do is, they come to the river, they scoop all the sand, all of it, until they get to the base of the river. It's bare soil, actually soil and rocks. And they move to the next river. As we speak today, Kitui has been classified as one of the drought areas. When the rains disappeared in December, by now, if we still add the sand in our rivers, our mother will still be fetching water from our rivers. Now, they can't. There is no sand, there is nothing. That is the picture, Chairman, that we have to deal with.
No.
And I say if I'm wrong, the governor can correct me.
I think let's bring it back to the conversation we are having here. We have numbers in front of us, but we also cannot run away from other things where we take judicial notice. In fact, Senator Wambua, you have brought another dimension that Kitui is facing drought. And that's a serious humanitarian crisis that we must find a way of tying these numbers to the response that the governor is making to help the lives of the people of Kitui. So let's come back to the numbers, and it's a very sorry state you have painted. Of course, Governor, we must give you a right of reply to put the record straight. So I don't know whether we want the governor to reply or we
Chair,
first
maybe I
put
can
in
make
some
an
questions.
observation.
Senator Cheraki.
So in this 15.6 million on transport charges, these are how many trucks and tonnage? Because they are saying it's based on tonnage. Number one, Chair. Chair, there is somebody who lives at Mulolongo and just informed me that he sees more than 100 trucks per day, mostly from Kitui. Chair, I want to believe this is a well-organized criminal enterprise of cartels.
I'm just wondering, like, how does a truck that is coming from Kitui look like? I mean,
of course, I've told you 70%.
Just that's what I want you to help me out. How does a truck from Kitui look different from one from
I have not finished here. I'm talking with somebody who works in the wage break of Mulolongo.
Okay.
And they can track because they normally tell them.
We have agencies that can establish
yes, that is the point at Mulolongo.
Yeah.
He says more than 100 come from Kitui. So, Chair, when you tell me it is only 15.6 million transport charges, it doesn't make sense. So, Chair, I think in all this issue of sand, this is a well-organized criminal enterprise that looks like narcos. Thank you, Chair. Yield back.
Senator,
Because he has mentioned, the weighbridge, Chair, I would want to request you to compel, because we have a weighbridge. So that these are not stories, we have a weighbridge at Kanyonyo. And I say it on record. They can challenge me.
Yes.
I believe some of the operators there are part of this cartel. I've been there more than 10 times. I've written letters to them to give me the list of trucks, so that we also answer Sifuna's question. The list of trucks that are coming from Kitui ferrying sand and the tonnage of those trucks. They have completely refused to divulge that information.
Senator Lelegwe.
Governor, you have budgeted 50 million for that particular financial year in your budget for sales. But at the end of the year, you're reporting 19% of what you targeted. Why did you budget for 50 million? And the reasons why you're saying you did not achieve your target is because you did not have Kitui County Sand Harvesting Management Act. Why did you budget 50 million where you knew very well that you did not have the act in place? Because from your responses, you've just said you did not achieve that target because you did not have the act. So why did you budget? And just to note, Chair, says as a single source of revenue is the poorest performing in your county.
So I think we need to give the governor an opportunity to respond and broad issues, but what's coming out is there's a feeling from the members of the committee that there could be a cartel in Kitui County that is either collecting cess and not reporting, or not collecting cess at all, thereby denying the people of Kitui the revenue that would have been in your hands to enable you to respond to the drought situation in Kitui. Because you have an unprecedented situation where animals are dying, lives are at risk, children, perhaps their education is threatened, and you need resources to respond. And this collection of cells could be one of those areas, low-hanging fruits, which if optimized could put resources in your hands. So Governor, could you let us know whether the cartelism that has been alluded to is a reality, and whether you need any help to crack it?
Mr. Chairman, I was elected to office in August 2022. As I was seeking votes from the people of Kitui, one of the things they were telling me to address when they elect me, and they seem to be so sure they will elect me, is the menace of haphazard sand harvesting from the rivers. So this issue is not yesterday's issue. It was there. And when we came in, together with the MCAs, we said, this is an issue where dealing with it is not easy. If you recall, Mr. Chairman, because you are still Senator here and some of the members here were still here, my predecessor, the governor of Kitui, she tried to deal with this issue, even in some cases at trying to arrest lorries, and she was not successful. Because the responsibility of enforcing who is transporting anything on our highways belongs to the police, and the police is not under the county government. So that's when we resolved to come up with a law which can be enforced by a county court which we have established, and which is provided for in the law Senator Sifuna was talking about. We have created a mechanism for enforcement. We have created, through that law, a mechanism for monitoring the sand harvesting and making sure as sand is being harvested, conservation takes place. And what we have done is, going forward, after the cooperatives which are supposed to manage sand harvesting in river basins, and we have 5 of them, they establish sand aggregation points where people who want sand from Nairobi or other places they will get the sand from the aggregation points. And smaller operators who are Kitui based, probably they can go with smaller lorries, not the big ones, and bring the sand at the aggregation point where it is collected together. And that way, the county will be able to have a structured way of assessing who is coming for sand, how much is collected, and be able to charge and to receipt it. At the moment, there is previously, there is what Senator Keo talked about, where you have groups, CBOs, which were there before, and they will charge 6,000. They collect themselves. It's not collected by the county government, but I would like the Receiver of Revenue and the Chief of the Finance and even Director of Revenue to confirm whether they themselves are the ones who collect the 6,000 which has been mentioned. And who gives the 1,000 receipts and so forth and so on. So that is the environment which we are trying to reorganize and ensure there is a proper order with respect to sand collection and the revenue arising from the same, and conservation at the same time. What we have established, the county government of Kitui is not the one which collects the 6,000 or any employee of ours. It is CBOs which existed before 2022 and before we put this act together and enacted it. And I think that's the situation. We are trying to bring order where there was a lot of disorder, and we realize unless we have a law which can regulate the space, there will still continue being confusion. Previously, those CBOs used to pay a lump sum for scooping sand in Kitui County for a period, for a year. And that amount was a year variously 300,000 or some such figures. But now you can see order is coming into it, but it will take time, it cannot happen overnight. Going to what Senator Lelwenge was asking, why do we put in our budget 50 million while we ended up collecting much less? We did that because we hoped through implementation of the law which we enacted and creating order in the way even the revenue is collected, we'll be able to generate a lot more revenue. Obviously, we did not, because, for example, the court I'm talking about, we constructed it. It was to be operationalized. It has not been operationalized yet, but we hope it will be in the near future. And sooner than later, even people who get sand there and don't pay, they will start paying.
Yeah.
Senator Marumu.
The Director of Revenue talked about cooperatives, formation of cooperatives. Governor, you're referring to CBOs. So who is managing the sand? Is it the cooperatives or the CBOs? Number one, if it is cooperatives or CBOs, they will aggregate sand and sell that sand to the buyers. Of course, they'll make a living from there. Then there would be the transporters who would be paid, who would pay cess to the county government. Not so? So are you comfortable with the 5 trucks per day? That would be my question, because then we are told of a story of 100 trucks per day. But from the calculations, we are talking about, or we are seeing it's like 5 trucks in a day. That's what I would just want clarification. Is it CBOs or is it cooperatives which are aggregating the sand. And then when it is aggregated, then it is sold. And the county is getting money or revenue from the cess, isn't it? Whether it is from the CBO or from the cooperatives, but the transporters must pay cess. Are you comfortable with the 5 trucks?
Governor? And I think, Governor, just a disclaimer, I think from the chair and the members of my committee, we have a lot of respect for you by virtue of your professional background and qualifications. Even though in the last few minutes, you have focused on describing the problem rather than the solution. So we hope you'll, as you answer Senator Mwaruma, you'll also focus more on the solution because you've described the problem very well.
And as he answers, Chair, how is that revenue paid, the cess? Is it automated? So much so that if the trucks are paying between 10,000 and 2,000, depending on the truck, then you can see if it is automated, a statement of that payment, which you can track.
Governor?
The cess and the charges which are paid to the county are automated. So they are not collected by an individual in cash. But let me go back to what Senator asked about CBO and cooperatives. Previously it was CBOs. That space was dominated by CBOs made up of people who scoop sand. And there didn't seem to be any order at all. But when we came in and enacted the Kitui County River Basin Sand Utilization and Conservation Act 2024, we came up with cooperatives for each of the 5 river basins. And it is the cooperatives now who will be responsible for really identify points where sand can be scooped. And if sand is scooped to a point where it is affecting the river basin environment, they are the ones who are supposed, working together with our ministry responsible for the environment, to ensure that it's stopped. So that's one thing, because the act itself is not so much about collecting revenue, but it's about conservation. Because as people of Kitui, we don't want really a lot of sand harvesting, because it's going to affect our environment, but we want to conserve. But you can't stop sand harvesting. It has never been stopped by any country in the world. So it is the cooperatives now who are responsible. They are the ones who work with the sand groups of various areas, who designate certain areas within the sand, the river basin, where there will be sand aggregation points. And we will try to minimize or do away with the cooperatives which used to exist before, and where there was no order at all in the way they were doing things.
Now, honorable members, we need to find some closure and give recommendations. Senator Wambua?
Yes, Chair, thank you. So only 2 things. One, are the CBOs still collecting the money from the trucks, the 6,000? And secondly, whose responsibility will it be to restore the riverbed that have been destroyed by the sand harvesting? And lastly, this is a comment, because I've heard the governor say we cannot stop sand harvesting. Actually, that could be true. We can stop the destruction of our rivers, but we can ensure that sand harvesting goes on, but we do harvesting. You know, we don't do what we are doing now. And when those are cartels, and those cartels are known to a lot of us, when they hear you, Governor, saying we cannot stop them. They start celebrating. Yeah, even the government admitted they cannot stop us. You know, the basis of this conversation, Chair, I like making full disclosures on everything that I talk about, is I met one of those cartels at a public function. And in my presence, he said some very annoying things. That me, I do very bad business and nobody can stop me. You know these things. Oh, but that's beside here. So let's just know whether they are still paying to the CBOs, and then who will take responsibility for the restoration of our riverbeds.
Sorry, Senator Cherarke, then we get the governor.
Maybe, Chair, during our visit to the eastern part, we should visit even the weighbridge at Kanyonyo and here Mulolongo, so that we get the facts. Because I can tell you, Chair, even in this traffic, you can spot 2-3 rollies with sand because brick and mortar. Governor, the Chair asked you about cartelism. Are you aware of cartels? Are you part of it? Do you know them? Can you point us where they are? I have not heard you deny. These sand cartels looks to be very powerful in Kitui. Are we part of them? Thank you, Chair. Yield back.
Governor, maybe you can make your response brief.
Very quickly, first, the CBOs have not been phased out completely because the cooperatives which came with the law, and the law was enacted we enacted last year, it will take time before it kicks on fully. So they are still, particularly in some places, particularly in those Mwingi areas you talked about, Kiromboko area, and we hear they are there. Talking about who restores the river basins, it's now the responsibility of the cooperatives. Because as I said, this law, which we are referring to as Kitui County River Basins Sand Utilization and Conservation Act, is supposed to ensure conservation, and the responsibility for overseeing how the sand is harvested within a river basin is granted by the law to the cooperatives, and therefore they are the ones who will monitor the places where the sand is being harvested from. If it reaches a certain level, they close the place and they ensure restoration, including planting trees and including stopping people from collecting sand from there. The issue about cartels, do cartels exist? I won't deny that there are cartels. First of all, depending how we define a cartel in this particular instance. But if cartel means people who are doing business which is not regulated and who make sure there is no law and order, previously, yes, they are cartels, but I can tell you they are on the run. Those who used to do business in Kitui, because of the new law, and slowly and surely even enforcement and mechanisms we are putting in place. As I said, we have an enforcement unit which will be working in that space, and officers. We've posted some, but we will increase the number. And we have a court, a county court, which we have already constructed after discussing the same with the judiciary. And we hope it will be operationalized and the judiciary officers posted there. And if it's a lorry which is not properly licensed or is carrying sand from a river basin, then it can be arrested by the enforcement officers together with the national police and then charged in that particular court. And we think in the near term, I will not say short term, and I don't want to say long term. In the near term, we want to bring order in that space.
Okay. Finally, Vice Chair.
I know the cartels would be there. Normally they are there. but they work at night. And these things are known, only that people don't want to nab them. But they work at night, they carry their sand at night, and they don't pay. It's there everywhere, even in Tetavet, it happens. Why? Because the people who are supposed to collect cess and the enforcement people just go home and leave these people to work.
So a point of information to Senator Maroma, the ones in Kitui are very bold. They do it day and night.
Day and night.
They do it day and night. And so, Chair, because I have the mic, let me just say this in conclusion. And Governor, I hear what you've said about the restoration of the riverbeds by the cooperatives. I have a suggestion as a resident of Kitui and a person that has suffered this. Why not think about, because now you are rolling out the new law, why not think about every truck that will be registered to do sand business in Kitui, you attach a fee to the registration for the restoration of the already destroyed riverbeds, because if you have then cooperatives in places like Romboko, Enzio, Moania, Tiva, Evekeve, and maybe Kevo, those beds are already destroyed. So the cooperatives are coming to operate on a riverbed that's already destroyed. So expecting them to raise funds from wherever to restore the riverbeds would be expecting too much from the cooperatives. Why not use the law that exists now to make sure that every truck that is registered, there is a fee for restoration of riverbeds? I think.
Chair, 30 seconds.
Please, 30 seconds.
Chair, on these sand cartels, I was expecting the governor to deny, but it looks like sand cartels in Kitui are part of that DNA of that region. But my only concern is, Governor, you have not shown in a way that you are partnered with the maybe national government through the county security team to assist you in surveillance and also county enforcement officers to ensure these lorries that they call so cartels that transport sand, which is worth millions and billions of shillings that should have gone to development in Kitui. Is there a way you are partnering with the county security team to ensure that these people are arrested? The Chair, the reason I'm passionate with Kitui is I'm in law in Kitui. And I don't want my nephews and uncles to suffer in Kitui because of poor development. So can he give us a global on how to address this problem once and for all?
Now, I think what we need to, and very good points and suggestions coming from senators, but we differentiate between issues of law and order, issues of policy, and issues of financial accountability. We are here primarily on issues of financial accountability. And the reason why we have had this conversation for the last 1 hour is that the revenues reported as cess by Kitui County government, they appear understated. 2 years ago, Kitui only reported 9.066 million as cess. 1 year ago, it grew to 15.5 million. And then last year, it dropped to 11.8 million. We have given you an opportunity to try to explain why that seesaw movement, but you have given us all the excuses in the world. It's very difficult to pin down the real cause of that oscillation on cess. It is the view and the position of this committee that revenues on cess needs thorough investigation, thorough inquiry, because even if you are to take what you have reported as proceeds from quarrying, 4.1 million, and add it to transport charges, 15.6 million, that is 19.7 million in a year, an average of 54,000 per day. The people of Kitui, which is one of the biggest counties, 30,000 kilometers square, is it logical, is it realistic and reasonable that the county government of Kitui would collect only 54,000 shillings per day, considering all the traffic that is seen? These must be tested. And Governor, we might be calling for a special audit or a forensic audit or even the EACC to look into this so that we have the assurance that the cartels, even if they are there, the county government and its officers are not part of the cartels. The county government and its officers are not the ones who are aiding the cartels. We say this with a lot of pain because your people are suffering drought. And they cannot be suffering drought and the money that is supposed to help them is going into the pockets of cartels. We live in this country. We know where sand comes from if you're doing a project in Nairobi. And we feel like this particular revenue stream is underreported, under-optimized, and we must do everything possible for the money to go into the pockets of the public rather than the money going into the pockets of a few. 54,000 a day, 5 trucks a day, clearly does not make sense. So, honorable members, we might want to make a recommendation on a special audit or a forensic audit or just direct investigation so that we can get to the bottom of this matter.
Chair, as the area senator, I would recommend, because the ESCC had initially gotten wind of this, they had already started working on it. I don't know why they chickened out. I would rather just ask the ESCC to follow up on this matter.
Okay, fine. So, members, this was quite important for us to address. And I think on the other issues on receipt of revenue, we can consider the written responses, but we'll make very bold, very aggressive recommendations on the matter of cess. We must deliver justice to the people of Kitui. With that, we can go back to the report on the county executive and deal with a few issues that are in there. Auditor General, on the executive statement.
Maybe, sorry for just a small matter. You
Senator
didn't
Chiraki.
allow this waiver. It's a lot. It's almost 87.1 million. Maybe a governor can make a comment on it. And I've seen the financial statement. Sorry for taking the committee back. I have seen he has tried to give Appendix 4, a report of waivers and variation, but there is no totality of this. So why this 87.1 million on waivers and especially on penalties? This is too huge. Maybe you can make a comment on that.
Okay, and maybe Governor, from again from your technicians, the revenue reported under annual business permit fees, is it cash or accrued? Because it's 90 million, it's quite huge. Well, what was the technical basis? There's the gentleman who had made that clarity, so that we are clear in our minds. You reported 90 million as annual business permit fees. Just clarify whether that was a cash or an accrued revenue.
Chair, it's cash.
It's cash.
Yes.
So it's actual money in the pocket.
Yes, yes.
Fine. Just address the question on waivers very quickly, as asked by Senator Chiraki.
Yes, last year, Chair, the county announced that they can give a waiver, particularly to landowners, property owners, who are very much behind with the payment of interest relating to the rates of their properties. And I will ask the Minister for Finance maybe to talk to that, Minister.
Please be very, very precise.
Honorable Chair, yes, we conducted a waiver exercise during the year in reference. And mainly, Chair, our biggest problem is that there is a lot of problem in Kitui with the duplication of plots. And our main target actually was not really to waive, but to get the real owners of the plots and identify where they are. Initially, we conducted a business mapping, and one of the areas where we got a lot of problem is to identify the owners of especially the plots and the ones which are within the municipalities. But I want to really tell this committee that even having waived this amount, although we got very important data for use, which we're using right now and in future, we also, Honorable Chair, increased the collection of rates by 100%, because initially we were collecting around 10-11 million, and we were able to collect in tune of 23 million. Thank you. You are.
Okay, honorable members, I didn't want us to generate further debate on ROR.
As your indulgence,
Okay.
he's saying they collected 23 million and waived 87 million.
Senior Counsel Okongo Morgan.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Chair, I'm sorry, but I'm just wondering, Governor, I've looked at the advert you placed in the newspaper for waiver. Why was it necessary for you to put your photo there, that you are giving waiver? I thought this was the county government of Kitui. I've looked at the advert, you see, your picture is there, and it's saying that the county government of Kitui, but the picture there is yourself. You know, did this increase the money you pay to the newspaper to give waiver? Yes. Why can't you just put an advert and tell people you are waiving? Why must you advertise yourself in this waiver?
What was the date? What was the date of that notice, Senator?
The notice is there, but what is so prominent is the picture of the governor.
Does it have a date? Maybe it was Father Christmas.
Chair, I personally...
And it seems you are still manual. You are telling people that for you to get waiver, come all the way to our offices.
Yeah.
Who did this?
I think that was done by finance.
Who is that?
Personally, I don't like putting my pictures on anything.
I'm surprised.
Even where we have projects, I don't put my pictures. But I think they were trying to copy what has been happening in virtually all county governments of Kenya.
You can't benchmark with bad habits.
No, I'm saying they, not me. Because as I said, as a person, I don't like advertising myself
You know, the newspapers will charge you for this. The people of Kitui, the money we gave you was costed here. This space was charged by the newspaper.
But I saw the advert, and I think you are correct.
Did you reprimand?
He's talking about the county government of Kitui announcing that waiver, not the governor.
Yeah, but the photo
is... but maybe... I don't know why it is done, but it is done by many counties, I'm sure. And maybe they may...
But you can direct them not to repeat. I mean...
Yeah, I don't need it.
Thank you.
Senator Sifuna,
Chair started by saying to you, Governor, that a lot of people in this room and me outside this room respect you. So they don't expect to see things like this. So if it was my friend, the CEC for finance who did this, you need to reprimand him. That next time, you don't want to see your photos everywhere. I know where that tradition is coming from. We used to have a governor in Kitui whose name I'll not divulge, where everything they did, even toilets, their names are all over and their photos. It doesn't help anyone.
Chair, Senator Sifuna.
Chair, we will wait until Wambua is governor of Kitui. We see what he will do. But in defense of the governor of Kitui, in your defense, if you look at the prominence of the photo here, it's not anywhere near what we have seen other county governors doing.
Yes.
I am telling you, we see billboards here in Nairobi, and you can see the face of the governor 100 kilometers away. And then when you reach there, you're wondering what is going on. Has he died or something? Then you see there. At the bottom is where you see that there is a waiver of land rates. I will not mention names, but we have seen things here. And we have, as a Senate, I remember we actually had a debate on this matter. I think there was a bill.
Yeah, there's a
No, there was a motion. I think there was a motion that was brought to the House. Yeah.
Because every single thing, if you drive around Nairobi, you will see a road project, the MCA, the member of parliament for the National Assembly. This conversation needs to get to all Kenyans, that all these resources are public money. It is not your money. So when I see people putting their faces, including live coverage of Nyota projects, and the others claiming that this is the president giving the young people money, that money is our money. He should remove his face from there.
On a point of order, that one should be expunged from the record.
No, why?
Should it be expunged?
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Chair, if we want to discuss
order members.
But again, you are clapping when the Senate was talking about governors.
No.
Clap harder when you talk about Nyota.
Chair, to be fair,
I think the billboards,
Can
I
finish my-
You should invite PS Mangeni here
Chair,
and ask
can I
the
finish
questions
my-
today we
my
are doing
point?
Kitui.
Can I finish
Chair,
my
it's good
point?
to be fair.
Okay, let's allow
There is-
Senator Sifuna to finish.
There is a larger conversation about public resources and personification of projects and all these things. We have just started by saying when the county government of Kitui gives a waiver, it is not the governor giving a waiver, and his photo has no business being on the advertisement. So even these plaques, whether you have built houses in Mukuru, whether it is an airport you're doing in Narok or Nyota, remove your faces from there. That is not your money. This is public money.
Chair,
Because it is used to deceive Kenyans as
You know,
if
this
no
is
other
the
person
things-
can do this.
This is the thing Sifuna can say later in Citizen TV.
Oh, I mean, this
Now, order members. Order members, order.
Conversation
happening here.
outside this room. Go and do it in TV, not here.
Order, Senator
They are dealing with
Chirarke.
Kitui.
Chair,
I think every
now-
member has a right to express their opinions,
But
and
Chair, let us
if we
explain ourselves to the issues on the-
if we
on the
disagree,
audit.
I will also give you an opportunity to express your divergent opinion. And
But
I think
ourselves to the audit queries.
I think I like it this way. We cannot be a committee that thinks alike. So let's
Chair,
proceed.
Chair,
Let's
with your kind permission. You know now,
Patient.
I am getting to a place where I also need the protection of the chair. Because when we are having serious conversations about our country, you cannot tell me to take them to TV. I am not here for show. I will do the show in the night. But I am saying this is a conversation that has emerged out of the audit query.
So I think
Can I also
Chair,
be
Chair,
asked?
please.
for us
Can I also be asked?
the issue of
Can I also be
TV.
asked?
The issue of TV must be expunged from the records because it
And the
refers
issue of
to
Nyota must be
it
expunged.
refers to extraneous matters that are not before
Can
the
I also be
committee.
heard in the
In the interest of time
Because Sifuna has
and
to
considering
remind
that we still have another county executive waiting outside, I will steer this debate back to the report on the
Can I
county
request-
executive.
Being
That is-
disrespectful.
I'm not disrespectful.
Let's order Senator Chirarke.
No.
Let us go to the report.
In this committee.
Let us go to the report on the county executive.
Yeah, can I make a comment?
Let's-
I request, I beg of you also as members and is this committee, you are chairing it very well, to restrict ourselves to the audit queries and the entity on the floor.
Let's
If we
do so.
want to make
Let's do
comments on
so.
leadership, we can do it.
Auditor General.
Chair, I differ with that. You cannot straitjacket us into a conversation. I mean, you can make cross references. If you say we just stick to this, then we'll have nothing.
This is your Nyota.
When
This
you
one
make
is your Nyota.
when you make references, Chair, when you make references, you should be ready also for answers. Why would you make a comment and not be checked?
Fine. So the points have been made. Auditor General, we are back on the report on the county executive. We take note, Governor, and we take note that your county is facing severe strain, climate-related, drought, and related emergencies. In this report on the county executive, before we get into the specifics, could you let us know, have you established your county emergency fund?
Yes, Chair.
How much did you transfer to the emergency fund in this financial year?
I think 20 million.
Could you demonstrate in your financial statement, because it should be captured under transfers? Because you see, it's one thing talking about procurement issues, but if you are leading people who are hungry, they would like to find out what the Senate said about their plight. So, can we see evidence in the financial statements that there's money that has been set aside and transferred to the emergency fund?
I think if we look at the budget, because I can see my team is fidgety.
The budget and actual expenditure are different, so we just want to see the transfer that was made to the emergency fund so that the people of Kitui get that guarantee that yes, the governor is thinking about them, he has ring-fenced some money that can be seed capital for response to the drought. We are back on the report of the executive, but I was just making a global observation because, it sounds very theoretical to talk about accounting standards when we are talking on behalf of people who are starving. So I'm just asking the governor to demonstrate to us whether the emergency fund has been established and the transfers that have been made to that fund.
What I can confirm and I know is in our budget we set aside 20 million on whether we can now produce the transfer instruments and the accounts of the fund. I must admit, Chairperson, I don't think we can do that now.
So your technicians cannot demonstrate whether that 20 million was transferred to the emergency fund? Because you see, we are looking at all the money received as a county. Some went to the assembly, some went to scholarship, some should have gone to funds, some went into, county corporations. Because as a Senate, there's a law that we passed that a certain percentage of your total revenue, is it 2% or 2.5%? 2% should be ring-fenced in an emergency fund. You have a situation in your county, unless the newspapers are misreporting the drought situation in Kitui. But I read about it even this morning in the Standard. It talks about the drought situation in Kitui. That money in the emergency fund is your starting point for emergency response, because it will be difficult for you to go back every week to the assembly to get a budget line to deal with cows that are dying, to deal with people who are getting displaced by hunger. Are you able to demonstrate that you have established an emergency fund, Governor?
I'm saying what I can vouch for. In the budget, we set aside 20 million for the emergency fund. Whether the actual transfers have been effected, allow me, Chair, to check on that one so that I don't say something.
So as it is now, you are confronted with a situation. What are you doing as a county government, and where are you getting the money to respond? Or are you just saying Serikali's idea?
Honorable Chair, we can show that we have established the fund because the account is there. But as you know, we receive these allocations, and when we receive the allocation, depending on the matters which are on the critical path. For example, now you have mentioned this one. We have now to put money into that account as the allocation continue coming. So we don't have a situation whereby the entire 20 million is taken at once and it's put in that account.
See, you are familiar with these financial statements?
Yeah.
Go to note 13 on other grants and subsidies. Because the governor says you have an emergency fund. And for you to have an emergency fund, it needs to be funded. For it to be a fund, it needs to be funded, isn't it? Now you have a situation that requires response from an emergency fund. Are we going to watch the citizens of Kitui die because you have decided to do other things and not respond to emergency? There is a line there on emergency relief and refugee assistance. Ideally, that's a line where you demonstrate how much you have put aside to deal with emergencies. And it is blank, it is zero. Note number 13, other grants and subsidies. Yeah. So there is zero on emergency relief and refugee assistance. What are we telling the people of Kitui who are facing drought? Are they on their own? 26. Because you see, it's when you come here, we just should not talk about the theory and the accounting standards, but put into context what the citizens are facing. Yes, Governor?
Mr. Chair, as I said, I can't at this point in time produce any documentation to show the money is in the fund. But what I can vouch for, because I'm the chair of the County Executive Committee, where the budget passes before it goes to the County Assembly, and who signs the appropriation bill. The money, 20 million, is there, and it can be used to address any emergencies and to deal with the relief issues, even as it is, because it has been appropriated as such by the County Assembly.
Chair.
Senator Mbua, then Senator Cherargei.
So then, Chair, I would then request the Governor to confirm that even in the situation that we find ourselves in, then that money, that fund has not been utilized to respond to any emergency. Has it been utilized?
Yeah, it has. You know, emergencies is not just lack of food. We have emergencies where people have accidents. We have emergencies where people are attacked by people from across the border, and we have responded to those emergencies. We have emergencies when there was a lot of rain where people were affected. We do respond.
Then in that case, Chair, there should be no difficulty then in responding to your question. It means it seems that the fund is up and running. Then there is money in the fund. You are already responding to emergencies.
You see, Senator Mbua, if the law requires 2% of total revenues to be set aside, 2% of 11 billion would be 220 million. And what they've set aside is 20 million. So I think I wanted us also to have that background.
Chair, maybe in line with that, apart, the law demands that 2% should go to emergency. Is there a legal framework on the emergency preparedness in Kitui? Number two, I have seen you have given subsidies to public entities of 49,361,584, yet you have allocated zero to emergency relief and refuge attendance. My question, Governor, who are these public entities that you have given them 49.3 million? Number two, does it mean the drought situation at the moment in Kitui County has not escalated to the situation then and now that it needed attention of allocation of resources to address the matter? Thank you, Chair.
Yeah,
Governor?
Chair, the 49 million is a subsidy given to our water companies, the two water companies. And when they provide water, they also are addressing to emergency issues. So the money is usually to help them with electricity bills, to pump the water from Masinga to Kitui all the way to Kitui, a distance of about 65 kilometers, and the other one from Kiampere to Mwingi, almost 80 kilometers. So that's a subsidy. And there is a correlation between drought situations and addressing them by having the water companies taking water bowsers in areas and the people get access to that water.
Auditor General, did you see an emergency fund established in Kitui?
Chair, not yet.
I would have expected that would be a very substantive audit finding. In fact, the other conversation you have had on CES, I would have expected the Auditor General to raise it as well. But on this particular one, this ought to have, because it sticks out, we know that Kitui is a county that is at risk. And when you set aside 20 million, as compared to the minimum 220 million that is required by law, I mean, it's insensitive. And so, Senator, I think Cherargei has asked, does it mean that the situation has not escalated to a point where it is an emergency? I think let's talk to the reality on the ground.
Senator, when it comes to emergencies, our county governments, including our own, they respond to them. We have the National Drought Management Authority, which is based in every county, and the county government is a member. and various partners contribute to the kitty to respond to any emergencies, and there are many of them. And they meet almost every month. The governor is supposed to be the chair, and occasionally the deputy governor also attends. So we have a framework which works, which deals with emergencies, and it has worked in the past, and it can also work now. The percentage you are talking about, 2%, setting aside 220 million every year, I must admit the amount we have set aside is not there, it's 10% of that. And going forward, we may have to look how we can boost the fund, but I want to be very honest. Having worked in county government before and now, it may be very difficult to set aside for any county. But since you've been here, maybe you can indicate to us which counties have done that, we can learn from them. To set, for any county to set aside such a colossal amount of money and put it in that particular fund, waiting for...
Governor, you see the advantage is that you've been in public service for a while, and you know where the law says shall, it is not a suggestion. It is not something subject to negotiation. It is mandatory. It is couched in mandatory terms. And I want to encourage the members of the county assembly present, because these budgets, they go through you, that you must also insist that budgets are balanced in the manner required by law. Because there is no way you would then pass a budget without the 2% allocation to the emergency fund. And the good thing about the emergency fund is that it will have a fund administrator, it will have its own financial statements, it will give you the flexibility to make a donation or a contribution to the committee that you are referring to, the County Disaster Committee. Without that, then you cannot pledge anything. I had governors yesterday pledging waivers and all sorts of things, roadside declarations, things that are completely unacceptable. So I think we expect the Auditor General to follow up this matter. But as things stand, the law has not been complied with, which also indicates that we are not very sensitive to the drought situation on the ground. Maybe sitting in Nairobi, I might have the wrong impression.
Chair, I'm not interrupting you, but I've just been corrected. The law itself talks at most 2%. It uses that language.
Yeah, so you see, the law is
not 2%.
Yeah.
Which means you can put
1% is okay.
Even if you put 1%.
No, as a renowned economist, I do not think that is an argument you should accept from any of your students.
Chair, there was an issue of whether the county has a legal framework on the issue of handling of emergencies. Because why would you give subsidy, for example, this 49.3 million, if you have allocated and ensure you can still give subsidy as part of the emergency response would be? Finally, Chair, there is a question that you have asked. I thought Kitui, one of the biggest challenge is a drought high risk area. So ordinarily, the county government will be keen to ensure that they give enough resources for the drought risk risk management, Chair, because, for example, if I come from a county that has a lot of rains, the more money tend to be fixing roads. So I thought Kitui, since Kitui is a normally high risk, they should have been able to factor at least 2% or even give 100 million. Then subsidies that they are giving to entities of water and many other water tracking and electricity bills should have been taken from that allocation. So my concern, Governor, is there a legal framework that guides your emergency situation within the county? Maybe the MCAs will be able to clarify. And finally, on this 2%, even if it is 220 million, I think it's too little to give 20 million. Should be have even 1% of the entire allocation. And by the way, you have indicated, Chair, in his response that there is support from the national government, from donor partners. So how much contribution, I know this is a concurrent function, how much contribution does these other actors contribute in terms of handling emergency such as drought situation in Kitui? I yield back.
Okay, honorable members, we can allow the governor to respond so that we go to the other issues that have been cited in the report.
If I may just respond to the last one about what other partners contribute, it all depends on the situation. Because we meet, we make assessment, and the partners will make pledges depending on the situation. So you can't give a specific figure at a given time. So when, for example, the rains have failed and there is anger, assessment, technical assessment is made by the National Drought Management Authority and a report discussed, and partners, including the national government, put in money in the kitty. And we also participate. Yeah.
I think we leave this matter here. The people of Kitui now have an idea on how responsive the executive is to this matter. I personally don't feel very comfortable about the responsiveness, but you need to do something to give that assurance. Let's come back to the report of the Auditor General. The first issue there, and I think the only qualifying issue on the financial statement, is on unconfirmed trade and other payables. Auditor General, you can just read your finding, and then we get the governor's response.
Thank you, Chair. This is the report of the Auditor General for the year ended 30 June 2025. Unconfirmed trade and other payables. The statement of financial position, and as disclosed in Note 32 to the financial statements, reflect trade and other payables opening balance as at 1st July 2024 of Kenya shillings 546,435,251, which differs with the prior year audited financial statements closing balance of Kenya shillings 835,868,265, resulting to unexplained variance of Kenya shillings 289,433,014. Further, the current year's payables balance of Kenya shillings 626,406,908 includes payables amounting to Kenya shillings 89,848,440, which have been outstanding for more than 2 years, with some dating back to the year 2015. Management has not put in place measures to settle the debts. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of trade and other payables balance of Kenya shillings 626,406,908 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor?
Chair, let me ask the Accountant General to read the response you have given on page 5 of our report.
In response, Mr. Chair, we have said that the variance between the opening balance and the closing balance was as a result of review that we did on the opening balances of the pending bills, and some of them were not.
Is it possible to read verbatim first?
Yeah, just read verbatim.
Yeah, just read the response on page 5.
Okay. The current opening balance of 546,435,251 was arrived at after review of the closing balance of June 2024 of Kenya shillings 835,868,265, which included bills cleared by the Pending Bills Review Committee of 2022 and the Pending Bills Review and Advisory Team, but lacked some critical documentation necessary for payment, all which included amount of full LPO, while part of the contract had been settled before the June 2022. Other bills were incurred by the level 4 hospitals, but were reported to the pending bills review committee and included together with the bills payable by the county executive. Level 4 hospitals are reporting entities, and therefore their pending bills will be paid and reported by each hospital. Part 2, long outstanding payables of Kenya shillings 89 million. The amount of Kenya shillings 89,848,440 comprise of projects contracted between January 2024 and December amounting 40 million, and the remaining amount of Kenya shillings 49 million for contracts entered into before August 2016 and December 2023. These are mainly pending bills cleared by the pending bill review and advisory team. The bills will be prioritized for payment in the current financial year 2025-2026 and will be cleared on the basis of first in, first out. During the year under review, the county executive total bill valued at Kenya shillings 546,435,251, comprising of 90 million recurrent and Kenya shillings 456 million development. We have attached the bills of the list of the bills that we are paid.
Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. Management has put an analysis of the 289 million, and then they've also broken down what has been paid and what has not been paid. So that is still work in progress.
Auditor, from an elementary perspective, the closing balance and opening balance, why should they be different for the same entity?
Chair, they were moving from cash basis to accrual basis. So they were looking at what they could support, and that is what they reflected in the financial statements.
So that explanation was not offered during the time of audit?
No.
National Treasury?
Chair, an opening balance must be there because they are the balances that were carried from the previous year. And it will form part of the closing balance at the closure of the year because still it has not been paid. So I am wondering, how will the county put that balance that they have said they've not yet analyzed? The circular from Treasury was saying that those pending bills, the payables, that we are calling them payables in the accrual basis, they should analyze, and those which they are sure of, they put them as opening balances. That is what the circular was saying. So if they've not put, I am imagining the closing balances then for this current year only, if they never had any opening balance.
Okay, now I think the accountants are beginning to confuse us. We knew that the balance you close at midnight should be the balance you open in the morning, at 6 in the morning. And that is what the auditor queried. You said that 546 differs with prior year audited financial statements. And I think it was on that principle that closing balance and opening balance were different, yet they ought to be the same. So, Auditor General, this 289 million that has been isolated, where does it go? Is it a write-off?
Chair, it's not a write-off. I totally agree with my colleague from Treasury. They were supposed to do an analysis of what they can support. And this was included in the statement of statement of financial position. And that is what we audited. But because they've not given us the nitty-gritties of what with this balance of 289 was for, that's why we had to query it. But what they've told us is that the 289 had not been supported. And that's why they are not bringing it forward as part of their payables.
So in your first paragraph, do you still have a problem with the entity, or you are convinced that they did the right thing?
We shall go back when you're doing the audit to look at the 289 that they've put aside.
So there's still some pending verification?
Yes.
Senator.
So Chair, what I'm getting from the explanation from the accountants, and it's true, they are beginning now to confuse us. So what you are saying is that in this transition year, we shouldn't expect that the closing balance the previous year will be the same as the opening balance for the preceding year. Because we have given them a discretion to determine what payables are realistic and correct in their own analysis, and which one they can say we write off.
For the time we have been in these committees, we have realized that counties have complained of the pending bills. They are saying they cannot support them. And we didn't want to force them to the things that they cannot support them. But they must be very sure what they will put in the statements as opening balance. It is what will stand forever. The rest, we do not know how to take them because they are complaining they are not their pending bills. That's where we want, because we could not tell them, put these in the pending bills, carry them to the current now accrual basis of accounting, and they cannot support them. That's why the auditor is saying they cannot support those pending bills. They have only the figure. And all circumstances, any entity that was a going concern, continuing, it must have an opening balance for its payables. It may not have the receivables because it may have been in cash basis. So they were paid in cash and finished.
Sorry, National Treasurer. I think looking at the time and the length of time you have sat, and maybe just being considerate, we can take a 5-minute break, 5-10 minute break, just a 5-10 minute break, then we come back. Yeah, we just adjourn for, let's say 10 minutes, 10 minutes, yeah. We adjourn for 10 minutes. we can resume our meeting after that short break. Order, honorable members. Yeah. Senator Maruma.
I don't know if you had finished with this query, because I'm reading another limb of the same query.
Okay,
that
proceed.
The auditor indicated that the management has not put in place measures to settle the debts. Maybe you can give opportunity to the governor to give the measures that have been put in place, if any.
Okay, Governor. We are still on the trade payables, and I think we are now asking for the measures that you are putting in place to settle the long-standing debts. Some dating back to 2015. I think that was your first term as governor. It sounds very untidy that some of those items are still pending bills.
Thank you, Chair. What we did when we came in, we put a pending bills review committee, and they looked at, and they put in the papers asking anybody who thinks the county government of Kitui any money to put in their papers so that they can be reviewed by that team. Some of the debtors who date back 2015, I know there are some former local authorities, but I would like perhaps the Accountant General to say who those are. But in terms of clearance of pending bills, Chairman, we started with the pending bills of 2.5 billion Kenya shillings. We have cleared virtually all of them now. We have about, I think, 239 or thereabouts. And we have submitted a pending bills payment plan to the controller of budget, and which we intend to follow. And as has been indicated, we want to adhere to the first in, first out payment procedure. But payments which are to be made must be fully supported by paperwork. Say showing if it's a contract, it was advertised, if it was supposed to be advertised, and all the paperwork relating to it. Because if that is not well put together, it is very difficult to pay, because the auditors again will pick it up. Yeah. So, but let's hear this case of the few which date back to 2015 from the Accountant General. Which ones are those, and why still pending?
Fine, proceed.
Mr. Chair, as I had indicated that some of the bills we are paying now are being cleared by the pending bills review and advisory team. These all the bills are the bills which were cleared by the committee within the year, and we were not able to pay them out at the time they were cleared. If you look at what we have done for the last financial year 2024-2025, all the bills that we were able to verify, we were able to pay them a total of 546 million. So we were able to clear all that.
Senator Chiraki.
Chair, Governor, looking at note number 32 on page 37 of your financial statements, I can see 2024-2025 opening statement of 1st July 2024 was 546,435,251. I can see half of what you owed was employee payables of 326,253,3831. Question 1, what is the fate of these employee payables? Because I want to believe they are gratuity emoluments, and these are things that deserve, or do you, or remittances that are not number one? Question 2. At page 37, note number 32. Is there your senator there?
Yeah, there.
Okay. So, Chair, question 2, Governor, in this thread and other payables simply called by Kenyan spending bills, because that's what Kenyans prefer, under 1 year, which I believe under you, almost 80% of the pending bill, or what you call trade and other payables, was 522,274,653. What was the reason of this increment to 500 million of a pending bill? Because if you look over 3 years, let's assume that was accumulated by your predecessor was 49.4 million. But looking at 1 to 2 years, 14.2 million, 2 to 3 years, 40 million. This, Chair, amounts to almost 80% of 626 million. Number one, to that number 2 question is, I have heard you explaining about budgetary allocation. What is the projection that Kitui County government will return a nil on trade and other payables? And finally, on the advisory on verification, this spending committee, are these people who you have called, you say, come, if you owe Kitui, just come with your documents. In this verification exercise, it looks like your pending bill is a moving target. Can you give this committee the certainty of the total amount of pending bill? And if you'd be kind enough with your information, was there an eligible pending bill, and by how much? Chair, and finally, on the schedule, Senator Wambua, allow me to shoot. You know, I shoot straight from the hip. Do you have the schedule of the pending bill? Because, Chair, we were discussing with you yesterday, maybe the Vice Chair was not there, that when you do business with the county, you must book a doctor for pressure and diabetes, because it looks like counties don't pay their pending bills, Chair. It's one of the sources of killer disease. Among 1,000 ways to die is to do business with the county. If we had that schedule to know the Kitui County businessmen and women that are it will be easy to make a decision. I know that we have a problem with transition, but the governor provides that schedule so that we know these people being owed are people who provide service and goods to the county government of Kitui. Those will be my 5 questions, Chair.
Senator Murumu?
We need to know also in these 326 million on employee payables, some of that money could be gratuity for people as far back as 2015, 2016, because we've seen that in other counties. We need to know if you have any such payables of gratuity for people who are working for the county but no longer work, but they have not been paid their dues.
Governor?
Yeah, let me ask the Accountant General to respond to those. I hope he was recording.
Okay, I hope your response can be briefer than the question.
Okay. The breakdown of the 336 is 135 million, which was the deduction for June, which we were not able to pay because of the issue of budget. And then the remittances, the deduction from payroll, which we were not able to pay because of balance budget, but we were able to pay when we opened the next year's budget. We have already paid that. The 190 is an agreement that we have with the KRA on an assessment that they had done earlier, and we have reconciled to 190 million, which we are paying currently this financial year 124 million, and the next year we are paying 66 million.
That is with respect to what? Pay as you earn?
It is mainly pay.
Pay as you earn?
Yes.
So could we understand, I don't know where control of budget is at this particular point. So when you paid your salary for June, when you made your requisition from the control of budget, did you requisition net or you requisition gross?
We did net because we do not have the budget to support the full. So we could not request for the deductions. And actually that was with the basis. We had to convince the controller of budget that we did not request full salary. That is why we were able to get it.
Why would the controller of budget approve net, knowing that statutory deductions are statutory in nature, are mandatory? Because that excuse can only apply if you took a bank loan, if you took an overdraft.
The COB is here. That would be a very important.
So can you say that again? The question was, the 135 million outstanding deductions in June, how did they arise? While we expect that when you are requisitioning for salary, you requisition gross and not net. You said you requisitioned net. Can you just confirm that?
Okay. If your budget does not is not sufficient to support the whole June salary, then you cannot be able to request the whole salary, because
so you can decide to pay half the employees.
Chair, my colleague there is now trending very dangerous grounds. What are you telling us? That you requisition from COB to give you a percentage of my salary, but in that salary I am supposed to do statutory remittances. I'm supposed to service my SACCO loans. I'm supposed to do pay as you earn. I'm supposed to do NHIF and those other things. So who takes responsibility for the balance?
Chair, with your permission, maybe the CEO of Finance can supplement the response given. Responding exactly to that query.
Okay, let's hear from Chief Officer, then the COB will corroborate what he said.
Thank you, Chair. The financial year ends at 30th June. When it comes to June, we don't always receive money by 30th June for the last financial year. We receive the money in July or late after the 30th June. So, but on 30th June, what is paid first is the net. While the statutory, which is supposed to be paid from 9th of the next month, when you receive the July disbursement, you pay. So at the end of June, the month of June, the cut-off point for that financial year, the amount, the figures has already been gone to the new financial year. So when you are paying, it's like you have paid it late. We paid it. We paid it. The amount is cleared. The second thing, what the Accountant General is saying is the budget for every month, you budget for 12 months for salaries. But starting of the month where we came in, there was a backlog of the deductions. The ones we have paid, the 190, which is pay and other taxes, like VAT, withholding taxes, are also accumulated in this. So it is accumulation of the two factors.
The accumulation is 190.
190.
But we are talking about 135.
Yes.
Which is for June. Control of budget, is any of this making sense?
Thank you, Chair. What I understand from the Chief Officer Finance, when he's talking about the net, probably he's paying from a bank overdraft, not requisition from COB. COB requisitions are gross amounts.
Can you clarify that,
yes,
Governor?
I think, although I'm not the actual actor, but I can say from my understanding of finance, you requisition the entire amount to the controller of budget, but because you don't have the money, from a cash flow management point of view, you give priority to payment of salaries, and because the statutory deductions are due by 9th of the next month, in this case by 9th of July, then you can pay what you requisition the controller of budget and they approve together with the salaries, but you delayed the payment of the statutory deductions. Because given the 2 hours, delaying salaries is causing problems. So you pay the
can
salary.
if we did a test, we will then confirm that the 135 million was subsequently remitted before the 9th.
It was paid.
Auditor General, you will need to help us on that. They will need to demonstrate that evidence because you have flagged in your report late remittance of statutory deductions. I think it's a very substantive issue in your report. So I doubt whether this explanation can cure what we are seeing here and what you have cited. You have cited 168 million, a different figure. 168, there's 135, there's 190. So it looks like a systemic problem, Governor.
Unless we look at the exact figures, but what I do know, we are up to date with our statutory deductions, other than the estimates which KRI made on allowances which they say may have been paid and so forth and so on. The normal one, payee, housing levy, NSSF, SHA, all those, the county government of Kitui is up to date.
Senator Wambua?
So, Chair, for the record, because we have two responses, I want the governor to clarify that when you requisition for salaries, you requisition gross. Yes. Because the CEO is saying that the requisition net, and we're wondering how COB can process that kind of requisition.
It's gross.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Members.
Chair, out of curiosity, what is the qualification of the gentleman who was speaking? Those was our basic. Maybe, Chair, can he go on record again? Through the Chair. What is your name? What is your qualification?
Okay, because I think for Hansard purposes, ideally you should have introduced yourself so that when you're capturing the minutes, we assign the name. Just introduce yourself and your role in the county.
My name is Joel Muyanga. I'm the Accountant General and Director Accounting Services.
Are you a CPA?
Yes, I'm CPA.
Number?
My CPA number is 17969.
Of good standing?
Yes.
Hey, that's interesting. You know, when you make such a basic error, we doubt the capacity and ability. Because that is very unfortunate, because unless COB, maybe through Chair, do you normally do capacity training to county officials sometimes?
Thank you, Senator Cherargei. Through the Chair, we do that, but the country must request. It has to request.
So there is a client for you?
Well, I don't think the onus is on COB, the onus is on CPAC, which has a seat on this committee. And if you have doubts about professional competence, we shall escalate to CPAC. Well, you know, we have seen crazier figures, and if it can be explained that the 326 million was subsequently settled, which I think the Auditor General can advise us, and that we are remaining with just 300 million, that will be about 3% of your total revenues. I think yesterday we had a county here that had a pending bill of 4 billion, and we are seeing them in terms of billions. So this does not look too bad. It's not good, but let's not benchmark. Let's not say that we are okay because we are better than other bad people. So ideally,
comparing two dwarfs, saying which one is taller.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we keep this in view, but the auditor should advise us whether the 326 was settled within the timelines, and then the date of 3 years. I think we'll take your written responses and see whether they respond to it. Otherwise, we'll make certain recommendations on how they should be dealt with. Now, members, we still have one meeting this afternoon. So let's go straight to unresolved prior year matters. And we shall proceed as follows. I will ask the governor, the storied maternity ward at Kitui County Referral Hospital, is it complete?
Chair, no, but we I've allocated 89 million Kenya shillings this financial year. It's a multi-year project so that we can restart it and allocate further money next financial year to complete it.
Okay, members, unless we want to go into the details, we can keep this in view. We consider the written response. The Kabati slaughterhouse.
Yeah, maybe, Governor, what about this court matter on the Story Maternity Ward at Kitui County Referral Hospital? What was the contract sum was 242,787,625, and it was supposed to be completed by 2019. I think there is no value for money. What is the story behind it? But there was a civil case that you are supposed to pay 254 million. Maybe just 30 seconds, and you did out of court settlement of 53.0 million.
Well, it is told, I think that around the period you mentioned, 2019, and I think the contractor went to court. He was awarded some money, and
you have paid.
We had to pay because the courts didn't want to listen to any reviews. So we paid to settle so that we can get possession of the site and make arrangements to complete.
The project is stalled.
Yeah, it is stalled. It is stalled. But
so do you think is there value for money through the chair for the people of Kitui to wait a project in financial year 2016-2017 up to now?
That's not the ideal situation. It ought to have been completed.
How much have you allocated on this budget?
We have allocated 89 million.
So there is a new contractor on site?
Not yet. We still have to go through the procurement process.
Okay.
But we can hear from CEO Medical. Maybe CEO Medical, where are we with this one?
And for comfort, Chair, in mitigation, could we see the budget with this budget line of 84 million? If it's not there now, maybe to the auditors.
Before the CEO comes on board, you know, Governor, this is one of your initial major projects in the county, and I would have expected that you would be very passionate about completing this project. I don't know, and I don't want to micromanage the affairs of the county government, but I have a feeling that 89 million for a project as important as this, perhaps maybe you could have done better. I don't know. You know your financials better than I do. But the truth of the matter is that you also know that there is serious congestion in that hospital. Serious congestion. And this would really have helped our people, you know. So the CEO will give us the book responses. But you know, the passionate response from this should come from the vision carrier, because you are the carrier of this vision. Yeah.
When we came in, it was embroiled in the court. Everything had stored. And we had to ensure we disentangle the project from the court process so as to process the site and so as to put money to complete it. Because even if we allocated money before, we would not have done the work because of the court case. Now that the court case is over, we have put 89. I know, and I agree with you, Senator, this will decongest the hospital, and that was the earlier intention. But when you look at our overall budget and other ministries and many other needs of the county, and also how much, even if you put a contractor there, how much work they can do per month and they can absorb, we decided initially that let's put 89 and then we can put more money. But I can tell you the ministry leadership itself and the county leadership, county executive, county assembly, I think we want to have this project complete. Thank you.
Has it been tendered already? Has it been tendered?
Well, this is where I wanted to bring the chief officer because he's accounting officer for the same. Maybe he can tell us where we are.
Through the chair, we requested for a bill of quantities from Public Works, which we got last week, and now we've done the requisition. I have signed, the chief officer for finance has signed, the head of procurement has signed, so it's now we're expecting that by Friday or even tomorrow the advert will be out, so the procurement process is ongoing.
Now, honorable members, remember these are issues we have prosecuted before. That's why they are referred to as unresolved prior year matters, and we have given recommendations on them in the past. I think what we need to confirm is whether the recommendations have been implemented or not. And if they've not been implemented, then it is upon us now to make not further recommendations, but to call for action to ensure that these things are closed. So the Kitui County Referral Hospital is still incomplete. The Kabati Slaughterhouse, which we discussed at great length before this committee last time, and Governor, you gave certain commitments, it's still not available to the farmers of Kitui.
Yeah, I will request county attorney to say where we are because it's a matter in court. And that's what is tying us. We are ready to operationalize, but...
is that the same status that we were in last time you appeared before us? Because I remember the senator was very passionate about this.
I agree with you, Chair, but you tell us why are we where we were even last time?
Has there been anything? Has there been anything incremental, or we'll get the story we had last time?
In court, yes, maybe let's hear from him, Chair, with you.
Okay, fine. Because I need to manage this meeting quickly. There is another entity that is waiting.
Thank you, Chair. There is some progress towards resolving this matter. The last time we were in court, the court directed that both parties file their accounts with the court. The accounts were not reconciled. That is, the county government and the contractor were filing different figures. So the court directed that the deputy registrar will reconcile these accounts and issue a certificate. Chair, the court has not been ready, but we have a date on the 9th of this month where the court will give further directions on the matter. Thank you.
So, long story is that Kabati Slaughterhouse is not available for use.
Chair, allow me to just say something about that that project. And we have said everything that we could say. But perhaps we can begin by congratulating Charlo. Now I think from the time that he was here, now he has been confirmed as the Attorney General, the county attorney. The last time he was here, he was a solicitor. Now, I wish that promotion came with a settling of this matter, at least. You know, I'm saying that, Chair, and this is not a light matter, because actually the next neighbor to this slaughterhouse is that Charlo guy. Is a neighbor to where that slaughterhouse is. Yeah. This is MCR, the chair of Park Kitui Assembly. That is his local market. And Chair, for the longest time, and this is where it gets painful, for the longest time, the people that consume meat in Kabati and its environs are consuming meat from a makeshift thing they call a slaughterhouse. surely, Governor and the county attorney, you can give to the people of Kitui. And I know perhaps the contractor is making demands that perhaps maybe cannot be met, but I'm very sure there are conversations that can take place. Can we, Chair, get a commitment from the county government of Kitui that the next time we sit to look at prior year matters, this will not be on the list of those things?
Governor?
Chair, this is a project which was given out by the former Kitui County Council for 4 million. That was a contract sum. Then later on, it grew into what the contractor was demanding. I don't know how he worked out. He wants to be paid 38 million. When we came in and we were confronted with that, we said this will not be the best way to spend the money of the people of Kitui. So the matter is in court, and the workings which have been done are pointing at him not being paid that kind of money. And actually, he has played a major role in delaying everything. Because even when they were requested by the court each to submit their workings, he did not do it. We did it ourselves. So let's wait on 9th. Once it is a judge that we pay him a certain amount, we will ensure we pay him so that we can utilize the facility.
No. Okay. Yeah,
at one point we were even thinking just building another one. But let's wait for we get this one. Because if it was 4 million and he wants 38, there are question marks.
You see, I feel that pain, Chair. I feel that pain on the side of the county government. The principal amount and the amount being demanded by the contractor. But Governor, if it comes to that, if that is what will resolve this issue, then so be it. Because I'm very sure, apart from just the service, Chair, the revenue coming from the slaughterhouse to the county government of Kitui would be a lot more substantial than even what we are collecting from Sant. Correct. It serves a very big area. So if it means then that you move into another project, if that is what you have to do, I don't know, let's just have a slaughterhouse for this region.
And really, it's tiresome to hear the same explanation. Governor, I think I listened to that explanation last time. You made commitments. 1 year down the line, we are still giving the same explanations. So I think, members, we must make certain recommendations that are final, that are binding. So it is upon us to move the House to adopt those recommendations. Could we be lucky with the X-ray building at Kaui Hospital? Proposed completion of X-ray building at Kaui Hospital. Is it complete?
The CEO responsible for medical equipment, I will request him to respond to that and tell us where we are.
Yes, Chair, we are lucky with the Kaui block. We installed the equipment and it is functional. And while we are still that, there were two of them. There was Kaui and the Shekru Hospital, which is also part of this report. Now, the one in Kaui is at Shekru is non-functional. And so we have made the decision.
Sorry. With a lot of respect.
Sorry.
I'm trying to rush so that we can be out of here in the shortest time possible.
Yes.
Kaui, you have a long answer there.
Yes.
But the bottom line is electricity.
Yes.
Is electricity now available?
We paid the electricity last week.
Is it available?
No, it is not available.
All the processes. Ugali meiva ama ijaiva?
Ugali, we paid and they visited the place today.
Are the X-ray machines put to use as we speak? That is when it is up on the Ugali meiva.
Yes. The X-ray was installed and it is functional. The electricity was not installed.
As we speak now,
yes.
As we speak now, the X-ray machines are working in Kaui.
Yeah, they are using generator. But the 3-phase has been paid for to Kenya Power and Lighting, and they have indicated they will be there very soon, not later than 2 weeks.
Yes.
And the officer who is responding, we have told him he should be on that almost every day
So
to ensure it's done.
where in this written response have you indicated that they're running on generators? Because what you have cited is back and forth with Kenya Power.
And also the auditor made a
really-
finding that it's not in use. So you need to indicate when you started using that facility. Because the audit query says that it's not in use.
Yeah, I think by the time of audit, it was not in use.
Yes.
But it's in use now, but using generator.
You know,
But
then, Governor, what you're saying is that you're agreeing with the findings of the auditor, and you, because you understand accounting better than a lot of us. So if it was done after the fact, then we are not doing audit here. So the fact remains that according to the report, it will appear again in the next financial year as a matter that is pending from the previous accounting cycle.
Agreed, Chair.
Yeah. So why don't we leave this? Because you have said that on 19th January the contractor delivered, the machine is been installed by use of generator, and ask the Auditor General to confirm whether that is the real state.
Chair, and an interesting response by the governor. He says on the X-ray technology, the X-ray technology is still viable, but there is an upgraded version of the technology. What do you mean? Do you want to procure the new technology? Why are you using old technology for people of Kitui? Why don't you use the latest?
Let's hear from the CEO on the technology bit. But my quick answer, just to save time, these were procured with that old technology about 7 years ago. This was done 19.
I want to confirm that this was within the mess thing. It was part of the mess equipment, right?
So, and there were 10 of them, and all the others which were installed then, they were still operating with this same audit
So why
technology.
don't you upgrade this technology to meet with the current technology?
Yeah, that is what we have put the CEO to discuss with the suppliers of this particular machinery.
Chair, maybe what was the fine print on the aspect of technology with the suppliers?
No, I think just for us to manage time, I remember this conversation last time. We put a question to the governor on obsolescence of the equipment, since there were equipment that were procured in 2017, and since their delivery in 2000, in 2020, they had not been put to use. Wasn't that the background? And we asked whether the equipment was now obsolete, and I think that's what you're responding to in that last paragraph.
Let the CEO respond to that, please.
No, I don't want to repeat the conversation we had last time. Because I think I remember we had that conversation. So maybe this one is just to address Senator Cherargei's concern that the issue of obsolescence, we are the ones who raised it last time.
It doesn't make sense to install, yet it does not give the service that is required.
So I think the most important thing is for the X-ray equipment to be available to the citizens and residents of Kitui. You have indicated that this was done on 19th of January, and as of 27th of January, the machine had been installed and was using a generator, and that Kenya Power will give you 3-phase by 30th January 2026. Can we keep this in view?
Chair, as the area senator, that's okay, we can keep it in view, but I'll also be asking the question on the usability of that machine. Because, Chair, there's a conversation that goes around. Do you want Afya Bora or you want Bora Afya? This equipment, that's what I was asking the governor, is part of the MESS project, or around the same time. It was around the same time. So if it was acquired in 2020, 2019, 2020, maybe it's not MESS, but it was acquired around the same time. 2019, 2020. 6 years down the line, it's the value for money, and even the usability of that machine, I don't know.
So there were 10 of them.
Yes.
And all the others other than Sikuru and the Kaui, they are working, still working, which means the obsolescence of the technology has not been attained. The one in Sikuru, which has not been installed, we have agreed instead of installing the old one, let's get a new one from the National Equipment Supply Services, which now is running, which was a successor of MES, Managed Equipment Services. But in the rest, we have to make a corporate decision after assessment has been done to all the others. And you know, this is a project which was caught in investigation by ESCC, all that delay and so forth and so on. So I think let the assessment be done. For Kaui and the rest, for Sikuru, we will do a new technology.
Honorable members, we have no means of confirming that these machines are running. It's only the Auditor General who can advise us. We are just taking the word of the governor. Can we be luckier with the oxygen plant machine at Kitui County Referral Hospital? We considered this matter last time, debated it at great length, made recommendations. Could we at least tell the people of Kitui that the oxygen plant machine is now functional?
There is oxygen in the Kitui County Referral Hospital, but not from that particular machine. It's a court matter. We found it there when we came in, and it's still in court. Maybe the county attorney can say something very quickly where we were with it. But there is oxygen at KCRH, but not from this machine.
County attorney?
Thank you, Chair. The brief about this matter, Chair, is that the county government of Kitui is contesting the lawfulness of the supply of that particular oxygen machine. And because the supplier had already obtained a decree against the county government, we sought stay of enforcement and leave to defend that matter afresh, because we do believe that we have triable issues that can be brought to the attention of the court. Chair, I can report we have a ruling on our application for leave on the 5th of this month. Chair, that will be Thursday, I think. Thank you.
So within the week, we might get certain directions on the matter.
Thank you, Chair.
We keep that in view. But Governor, you're saying you have found an alternative way of producing oxygen away from this contested equipment?
Yeah, that has been put in place. Maybe we can hear again from...
what is that alternative way?
A better alternative.
Yeah, through the chair, we installed a bigger capacity plant at the KCRH, and we have 4 funds of how we are supplying the oxygen there. We also have, on top of that, we have a 8,000 liter oxygen tank. We have the cylinders.
When was that procured and implemented?
It was done in 2021.
And it's fully implemented?
Very operational. It was implemented in partnership with AMREF in 2021.
Okay.
So it is working.
But
yes.
Who is keeping the oxygen plant secure? Because after the court ruling, or if the court rules that is your plant and is vandalized, don't you think that you now have a plant that is vandalized?
Your county attorney, you know, we do not know how the court will rule. Yes. But given the procedure or what happened, of course we can't read the mind of the judge, but let's hear from the county attorney the probability that the decision will go against the county government of Kitui.
Proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I wish to comment on this storage, where it's currently kept. And maybe if you allow me, I may not say whether I think we will be successful or not successful on the matter. Currently, this oxygen plant is within the hospital facility, but over time, and maybe the issue why this raised as an audit query, the storage is not ideal. It should have already had a housing, a specific housing where it would have been stored, but currently it is not under such ideal conditions. Thank you, Chair.
Now we keep this in view and look forward to the decision that will be rendered on the 5th of February. I hope we can be lucky with the construction of livestock office block. Is that concluded?
I think that's the case.
Auditor General, construction of livestock office block?
Yes, Chair, the defects were done. Thank you.
Okay, we are getting luckier. Now let's go to reptiles. Construction of a snake pit at Mutomo Reptile Park. Governor, are the snakes happy now?
Yeah, are they done? Yeah, I think they are done.
Do you think they're happy?
Yeah, and was inspected.
Auditor General?
Chair, the defects were done.
The sump well and civil works at Chia River.
Yeah, it was a matter of fencing and so forth and done.
Now, I think we had gotten some update earlier. The other area we wanted to ask was a 573 million on Department of Health projects, which are still incomplete. Has there been some progress on that?
Huge progress. The progress, there is a report we showing the progress for each. The big amount relates to the stored maternity wing and the amenity. But the others, there was a mortuary that is finished, and many others are finished actually.
So you have a seven-page response there.
Yeah.
Honorable members, because we had already discussed this at our last meeting and gave recommendations, a number of the projects there are still ongoing.
Chair.
Yes, Senator Chirake?
Chair, why would you be doing a national government project? I can see there's construction of 7 classrooms at KMTC Mwingi. Who is the MP? Mwingi East or West? In your response, number 3, construction of 7 classrooms at KMTC Mwingi that was started in 4 January 2019 at the cost of 17,027,650. The project is stalled.
Yeah, 2019, as you know, I was not in office. There was other people who are in office.
But Governor,
and when you come,
Governor,
when you come and you are public office,
government exists in perpetuity.
In perpetuity, I agree with you. So when I came, and that was started by my predecessor, by the county government, we have a duty to complete.
Governor,
and we will complete.
Governor, these are national government function. It is done through CDF.
Yeah, and since it was started by the county government, that time the dividing line was not as thick in some cases as it is now. National government is doing markets, housing.
No. We are not talking about national government. We will call them. Governor, is there, through the chair, is there an arrangement? You now trying to do populist politics, which will not assist you. Governor, through the chair, is there a memorandum that you wrote between the Ministry of Health and the county government to do these classrooms?
I will have to check on that. As I said, it was 2019, and it was picked up by the auditors as something which was being done by the county government and not complete. And as you say, government exists in perpetuity, so it is us who have a duty to complete.
Before I allow Senator Wambua, these are still over the years due to financial costs. So does it mean you receive a lot of money to Kitui until you decide, let assist the national government? Over to you, Senator Wambua.
No, I think, Governor, the question that we are trying to resolve here is a question of, actually it's a question of law and process. So
maybe let's benefit from your wisdom. If in 2026-27, the county government of Kitui, and procedurally, tenders for a project and it's awarded and it starts and it's a multi-year project, then in 2027, 2028, there is another government in that county. What is the new administration supposed to do? Discontinue the project because it was unprocedurally procured, or continue to complete it anyway because it was started?
I think one has to look at the circumstances of how it was commenced. Maybe there was some understanding between the national government and the county government then, and I was not in office. But what I'm saying, and maybe I can be advised here, since it was commenced by the county government, with or without some understanding, because we do not know, should we as a county government complete a project which is within where we have our second biggest hospital to train Kenya Medical Training Center youngsters? Or should we just say it's not ours, say some 20 million or some money was sunk there and let's forget about it?
Yeah, Chair, can I assist the governor?
It's not an easy...
Governor, can I assist you?
Governor, and as we are doing this, let us be mindful that these are prior year matters, which we had discussed very extensively. So, with that in mind.
Chair, can I assist
the only problem with that? The only problem with that is with these prior year matters, it will appear like they will be prior year matters forever. You know, there will be no point at which then we just draw a line and say this is it. I'm saying this, Chair, because unless a county entity or a national government entity invokes the provisions of Article 187 or 189 of the Constitution on shared functions, unless that is invoked, then clearly that project is unprocedurally procured. So should it continue? And Governor, I have the example. I have two examples. You came in, and there's agreement between yourself and a lot of us, even this committee, that there are some projects that were begun by the previous administration that, one, there's no value for money, and two, they don't belong where they are. You're talking about, the crusher, the Manyanyune thing, the trucks for carrying livestock, and I'm surprised actually the Auditor General did not pick that up. Chair, we procured trucks to ferry animals to markets, and I think they are stored all over. So when you come and find that kind of mess in a county, as an administrator, because you're also learning, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, maybe, but the governor, the neater way, and it's not that we are not saying that if there is a need, please, I have told you have the county attorney, and thank God I'm the drafter among other colleagues of that bid. He should have advised you that when you are doing a national government project, you must come up with a memorandum on that functionality, and your senator has put it up. Finally, Chair, because in the interest of time, out of these 573.5 million, the reason, Chair, we are requesting to take much more time is because these are projects that touch people in Kitui. But what shocks me, majority of the stall projects relate to health. For example, story ward at Kitui County Referral Hospital of 242 million, it has stalled. Construction of surgical and amenity block at Kitui County Referral Hospital has stalled at 144 million. Chair, the one construction of maternity ward, Nuhu Sub-County Hospital of 5 million has stalled. Governor, why are you frustrating people who want to give birth like some of us? One maternity. or
Make-
Kitui, and
in
the
fact,
numbers will be good.
Order.
I've seen Wambua speaking around in Murang'a and insisting that there should be numbers.
Most of
Why are
these,
you not doing maternity
Governor
work?
and Senator Cherargei, order.
Oh.
We must wind up this meeting by 4. We must wind up this meeting by 4 because we have another entity that is waiting. So let us not re-examine what we had already re-examined. Let us just make recommendations.
Yeah, because the issue, Chair, is
Senator
still
Malombe.
subsisting, my counsel would be that because it was a national government project or function done by the county government, then why don't you explore ways of having this project measured in terms of measured works and transferred to the national government, maybe done by CDF or just the national government directly, because it cannot just stay there when public money has been expended already. These projects are projects for Mwananchi. They are not county government. They are not Mwananchi for county governments and for national governments. I think in terms of just having the measured works and transferring it to either CDF or other way of the national government taking it up, that would really be neater.
Governor, we will make those further recommendations on this matter.
one option, and the other option is to seek to enter into an interministerial agreement so that we can have it completed, because we need those children for our hospitals there.
Fine.
Just to answer something, most of these projects, money was set aside to complete them. And the county assembly increased money from the Ministry of Health. So they are not being frustrated. But we found the situation, we discussed together with the county assembly, and we increased a lot of money. And most of these, I think almost 70% of them are complete now.
Fine, let's come back to the report. We will go to the other critical issue under lawfulness and effectiveness. Failure to recognize provision for contingent liabilities. We have already seen that you've got a number of matters that are before the courts, and your responsibility is to disclose those contingent liabilities. I thought we discussed this at our last meeting. Governor, how come for another financial year you have not made that disclosure?
Those who prepare the accounts, they should have done that, because I agree with you, Chair.
Now that
we discussed that, and they should be provided for.
Now that it is the second time we are discussing it and they haven't done it, what should we do with them? If you can't do something about them, because you look like you are tolerating.
First of all, let me hear from the Chief Officer Finance. We discuss this.
But should they explain administrative things before the Senate? You must take administrative action.
Well, that's the reason why I brought them here, so that things which is in their court, they can really shine some light.
Okay,
but I agree with you. What they should be provided for in the accounts, and not providing is not the right.
Is there any reason? Is there any reason?
That's what I want to hear.
Chief Officer?
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. For current financial statement, we have disclosed, but for the previous ones, which were never disclosed.
But this observation is on the current financial statements.
These are from the previous, not this current.
No, this is under lawfulness and effectiveness. Auditor General, were you querying the past financial statement or this financial statement?
Thank you, Chair. Let me just make a clarification. We are looking at the provision for contingent in the statement of financial performance. They did not provide for that provision.
For the year review.
Yes, for the year under
So,
review.
Chief Officer, which question are you answering?
The disclosure. Chair, you asked me for disclosure.
Failure to recognize provision for contingent liabilities. That is an audit query.
Yes. Yes, Chair.
So you recognize that provision?
Yeah, we did. Just a minute.
What is the CEO looking for? This is something that was there flagged during the audit, and we had opportunity to answer it.
And you saw
what does it?
Chair, the question was different, and the OAG has clarified. The question was disclosure, which I said we have been disclosing on the financial.
Failure to recognize provision for contingent liabilities. Did you do that?
No, it's not there.
Were you required to do so?
Yes, you are. Yes, Chair.
Is it a material disclosure?
Some material, Chair.
So when a member of a regulated profession omits a material disclosure, what should be done? Are you a member of the of ISPAC?
Yes, I am.
So then, members, we can make our own recommendations to ISPAC. If CPA Tunga was here, we would have just handed you over to him for immediate disciplinary action. The amenity ward at Mwingi Sub-County Hospital, non-operationalization of amenity ward at Mwingi Sub-County Hospital. Governor?
Yeah, let's hear from the Minister for Health status.
The amenity ward was yet to be operationalized and the procured equipment were lying idle in the store. 2.4 million.
Thank you. The amenity ward at Mwingi is operational.
With a
24-bed capacity.
As at what date? The auditor says that during the audit it wasn't operational.
Yeah, during the audit it wasn't, but it's currently operational.
So you are going on record that it was it was made operational on which date?
It was made operational in August 2025.
In August 2025, the auditors were in the county.
The governor, the auditors were there.
It was a...
What time the audit was still going on?
This audit certificate was signed in November.
Sorry, Chair. I think it was in December.
Can we be sure?
I can confirm.
We are writing a letter. We are making recommendations to the Senate.
I can confirm.
We cannot go with approximate dates.
Okay, I can confirm.
Is that captured anywhere in your written responses? So that if you are to
yes,
refer
it
to
is.
Them, where exactly?
What is captured is that it was operationalized in August 2025, which is misleading the committee.
Governor, how are we going to believe your? Because I'm trying very hard to use your written responses, but if there are inaccuracies, then we are going to have problems.
We need to just get the exact date when it was operationalized.
Auditor General, do you know that it is? Do you know whether it is operational or you need to go and do a verification?
Chair, we shall need to go and verify it because by the time we were in the field, it had not been operationalized.
And that was in June 2025. So it is possible from June 2025, Chair, to August, maybe it was operationalized.
Maybe the minister is saying it was operationalized in August, as she had said earlier. They were there in June.
Yes.
So, and she's very firm
we'll allow
on that.
the OAG to ascertain this and advise us. Failure to operationalize completed projects, I think they are all in Appendix 1. Vandalization of works at Ethokwe Showground. I think this one we had discussed earlier. We were informed that some of the vandalism was rectified when there were certain national celebrations. Unsatisfactory implementation of projects. Ngomano Mwitika Market Sample Water Supply. The question we had asked the Auditor General in the morning, is this water supply functional? Is it complete and functional?
Yeah, Chair, it is complete, and I'll be going there in 2 weeks to commission it. But
people will not drink water until you commission it?
No. Normally our practice is whatever is complete, wananchi wanaanza kutumia.
So kuna maji hapa, Ngomano Mwitika Market Sample Water Supply.
Yes.
Right now, someone from that area can go and draw water.
Yeah, exactly. I said in 2 weeks. But water is being drunk there.
Okay, so the specific issues that were raised, we had looked at them earlier, and because of time we might not be able to prosecute them. There were variations in BQs, and then there were other issues of regulatory compliance. But we had agreed that we focus more on the effectiveness, but the issues of lawfulness we shall address when we are making our recommendations to the House. On the Muvuko Kianya Mwanyanga Sample Water Supply, Can a resident of Kitui go and get water from there?
Yes, Mwanianga, water, do we have water? CO?
Is water flowing?
CCM water, can you respond to that?
Yeah, not many stories. Kuna maji?
Chair, there is water. In fact, all the water projects which were implemented are now functional.
Let's go see.
From Vuko, there is water, Chair.
Vuko, Kenya, Mwanyanga. So right now it is functional.
It is functional.
A resident of Kitui can draw water from there.
Yes.
So we'll address ourselves to the issues of variation of the queues and the other workmanship issues. Irregular procurement of water projects. There were 3 contracts worth 50.3 million. But they had regulatory compliance issues. But the question is, are the projects implemented? And can you draw water from them?
Yes, but CCM water, can you respond to that?
So,
and the regulatory issues was...
so we start with Tiva Kilawani.
Issues with to do with the NEMA and so forth.
Yeah, those ones are easy to deal with. Let's deal with effectiveness.
Yeah.
Tiva Kilawani.
The project is complete and functional, Chair.
Complete and functional.
Yes.
Tia Wibondo Withuki.
It is functional.
Tiva Kalala.
It is functional, Chair.
There is water.
There is water flowing in all our projects which were implemented.
So they are done.
Yes.
And it is verifiable on the ground.
Yes.
Or they are waiting for the governor to go and commission.
Yeah, but the people are enjoying water.
The people are enjoying water.
Yes.
Okay. Naenda kuzindua maji. Funding of national government functions, 76 million spent on bursaries to students in secondary schools, universities. This is a matter that is in the public domain. What you need to do is to demonstrate that you've got an intergovernmental agreement. Do you have any in place?
Yes, as it was discussed during the summit, the last summit on 10th December 2025, and it was agreed that an IPA will be put together using Article 189. And the AG was to give his advisory to the National Ministry of Education, which I think he has gotten, and therefore we are good to go, all the 47 counties.
No, it was not all the 47. It was each county needed to do something.
Yeah, just it's a standard agreement for all of us.
As your county done so?
Oh, yes.
I saw a schedule of counties.
Just through the chair.
Yeah.
That agreement obligated you to put in place a requisite legal and policy framework. Legal means you are to ensure there is a law that allows you to spend that money, because that's a national government function under our Kenyan Constitution. So what I want to know is, which law is this that has given you powers to take over this national government function?
The performance of that particular function by county governments, that is disbursing bursaries to our students, is under Article 189. And as far as I know, unless something else
the agreement between
we are not required, first of all, to have a law.
Governor, let's go slowly. Let's go slowly. The agreement between you and the Ministry of Education gave you responsibilities. Your responsibility was, before you do any disbursement, you put in place a legal and policy framework, okay, to support that expenditure. Are we together? 2, you are supposed to do guidelines for identification of the beneficiaries. Do you have those documents before us?
We have a policy, we have guidelines.
What is the legal framework? Through the chair.
I know.
What is that legal
I know
framework?
we don't have a law.
If you don't have a law, then
but we have guidelines, we have a law of how you identify, how you give, and when you are giving. We don't have any bursary funds this year.
Let's begin with the first one, because that's what the auditors are querying. And for you to escape that query, you need to tell us the legal framework, the law that enables you to do so. Which one is this? Because the agreement between you and the national government was an intent for you to assume that function. But they said before you do so, put in place.
They seem to have maybe put other things.
No. Governor.
Can you go to the document?
But let's leave it. Let's leave it
let
because
the governor read the document that he has presented.
for the time being, we don't have any bursary in our books.
Governor, can you refer to your agreement 3.2? What are the roles of the county government under this IPA? Because you are saying they have inserted other things. Can you read what the roles of the county government are under the agreement that you signed?
Our understanding, you must have guidelines, you must have a policy. But I will look at it and we'll see what to do.
Governor,
when we put money for bursary, now we don't have.
Governor, could you read the roles of the county government? Because if you don't, then it will appear as if Senator Mogeni is sneaking in his own issues.
The chair, as he answers that, you should tell us who is the right person to commit the county, who signed that MOU. Huh? And then the county attorney.
So
how do we trust an agreement that is not even dated?
Okay, Governor, what are the roles of the county government?
Without taking a lot of time, Senator Morgan is correct. It's develop the requisite legal and policy framework. That's what it says.
So that's what Senator Morgan is asking.
Develop guidelines.
Okay, just leave it at that. Can you demonstrate the legal and policy framework that you have developed, having signed this agreement?
When was this signed? This one, I must say, this was an earlier version. As I said, on 10th December 2025, during the summit, this was an agenda item, and we agreed what needs to be done. But this one I can see is 19th May 2025, because we had signed one earlier where there were a lot of issues, and therefore it was discussed again, and we have a new one. But
so why didn't you give us the new one?
Will have this.
With due respect, Governor, why didn't you come with the one that is applicable so that we don't waste time discussing something that has been overtaken by events?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is let's take this as it is, that it is required legal as that may.
No, why should we take this and you are saying it has been superseded? You know, I wish you could make my life easy. Would have been done 7 minutes ago.
Chair, let's make it easy. So that document is part of this file. It's from the county government of Kitui. Governor, do you confess ownership of that document, or you want to say it's not your document?
Yes, I'm saying there's an agreement which was signed between the county government of Kitui and the National Ministry of Education way back in May.
Yeah. So we are relying on that document.
Still has been overtaken by events, and we haven't used it. We don't have this bursary money in our budget.
You see, Chair. Then I think then we should not have an argument, because if another document was signed between you and the ministry, what would have been the most prudent thing to do is to bring that document to us and tell us, disregard the May agreement that has been overtaken by events. As we are basing our arguments on the documents that we have received from the county government of Kitui.
Okay, what I'm saying, this should, for that period, this was the agreement which was there. But I'm just updating the Senate that this position has been vacated, but I don't think even those two clauses about a legal framework, policy framework, and guidelines may most likely still be there.
Yeah, Governor.
So this should not be the document here.
Governor, yes, that is the point. That when you made these agreements,
so what happens then?
The control of budget disregarded these agreements that were done under Article 187 and Article 187, and they were disregarded. And she said she would not release money using these. So, as you put it correctly, this document should not have landed here because it was not used to disburse this 76 million. You should just say that. And you should say that in future, you have agreed in December in that summit that you'll do other agreements under Article 189. Yes.
See, Governor, that's exactly the lifeline I was trying to give you to expand this document. Because it's your document. You're the one who has filed it. Just say, you know, I want to expand that document from that file. Then we can have another.
Chair, I've already said this should not have been there. It's another softer way of saying.
Now, Governor, can you provide, for purposes of our report writing, can you provide the most up-to-date agreement? Can you provide that to the auditors in the next 7 days so that when you're writing our report, we have the more up-to-date version of your agreement? Yeah, but in any case, I do not expect that it will discharge you of certain responsibilities. The responsibilities, duties of the county government, I do not think can be revised in such a way that you no longer have to put in place any policy and legal framework. It cannot. So, honorable members, and I don't know, unless there's one big issue that we have not dealt with, due to constraints of time, we might resort to written responses on any matter that has not been addressed. And the county assembly, if there's a matter that we did not consider in depth, you have an opportunity also to look at it, being the primary oversight institution.
Yeah, I'm not very sure. Maybe we can take 1 minute on failure to retain FIF funds. I don't know what that should happen and if it is still happening, because all the money collected there is supposed to be used in the hospitals. Just that, maybe that one.
Okay, failure to retain?
We do that, and I will request CEO for medical services to talk to the matter, but we do. Any money is collected from any hospital is retained there.
So please direct explanation.
CEO?
Because I know your written responses are here, but this is just for emphasis.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, FIF is now operational in Kitui County. We implemented it on 15th May 2025. So our facilities are retaining the money and they're using it at source.
No, there is, you are saying, the Auditor General here is flagging an inconsistency in what ought to go to the hospitals. I think that's what you need to explain.
Okay. Chair, at the time of audit, the Kitui County had not implemented facilities improvement financing. Therefore, all money collected by our public health facilities would go to CRF. We used to get our funding from the county treasury. That, however, changed on 15th of May 2025 when we implemented the Facilities Improvement Financing Act of 2023. So now our facilities are able to retain that money and use it at source, of course observing the laws and regulations.
You know, there's something, I don't know whether you're the one who addressed us on whether the hospital revenue was cash or accrued. Are you the one who addressed that matter in the morning?
Yes. I understand the issue. The issue was, what the auditor raised is that during the year under review, a total of 425 had been given to the hospitals. That was from Treasury. However, a total of 416 had been swiped to CRF. So therefore, the auditor asks, why are you not implementing FIF? And that's why my response is, the county government of Kitui is now implementing FIF. That started on 15th May 2025.
Now, there is 722 million cited by the Auditor General. And when 722 million is cited, the assumption is that what then goes to CRF and then FIF should be 722 million.
You're correct, Chair. That was not the case before implementation of the national FIF, but now that is the case.
So you, ideally, you should have implemented it, you would have wired 722 to the facilities.
Actually, Chair, what happened after they collected 722, they swept 416 to the CRF and then brought back 425 to FIF, an extra of 8 million. I think what we should be asking finance people is where that other money came from.
You know, officer, I'm trying to help
you. Yes, please.
I'm trying to help you, but you think I'm trying to trap you. In the morning, I asked the question whether the 700 million as medical fees was cash earned or accrued.
Yes.
And what did you say?
It was on accrual basis.
Yes, so that's what I'm trying to bring out clearly. That 722 was not cash available to be distributed to FIF. Why is your team so defensive? Even when you're trying to help them to get clarity. But what we need now to establish is, out of 722, what was the actual cash that was available for disbursement to the facilities? Was it 416 or 425?
425.
Auditor General?
Thank you, Chair. In real sense, the swiping of the cash to CRF is not supposed to be there. The hospitals are supposed to retain the funds that they collect. So that is the issue here. Thank you.
No, I think the question is slightly technical. That you've accrued your revenue at 700, but you've realized only 425. What should the Senate be demanding should be utilized by the hospitals? Is it the accrued revenue or the actual revenue?
Actual revenue.
Actual revenue.
Yes.
Fine. So, honorable members, will take the written responses. And now that we are on accrual, some of these things will keep coming up. And I think we understand the challenges you go through. When you come here, not every question is a trap. Maybe some questions are meant to help improve systems. Any other business? Unless there is any other business, I will ask the governor to make his closing remarks, and we'll donate our time to Senator Wambua to make closing remarks on our behalf. Let's start with the governor.
Chair, I want to take this opportunity to thank you and the members of the Senate and the other institutions which are represented here, including the Auditor General officers for the engagement and we have had and the advice which you have given us. It is improvement. You can see in the case of hospitals, we are reporting complete, operationalized, while previously it was different. So we take your advice seriously. And when we go back, even before we hear the advisory from you, we'll go through what we've been requested by the Senate to do to improve service delivery in Kitui. Thank you very much.
Very well. Senator Wambua, on our behalf, closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I also want to take this opportunity to thank the governor and the team from
the county government of Kitui, including members of the county assembly, for their time and cooperation. Governor, one thing I must say about particularly involvement with the Senate is that you have tried to be very consistent. Every time that the Senate has asked you to come, in most cases you would find time to come and confront the issues. And I think that is the spirit that we want. We have seen, and I'm not going to be mentioning names, but we have seen governors who are in office today who have problems appearing before our Senate committees, and that can only complicate things for themselves and the counties that they lead. This is not a place for people to come and fight. It's a place for work to be done. It's an exchange of ideas. By the time you are leaving a Senate committee, you are wiser. By the time we are leaving here, even ourselves, because there is always a difference between theory and practice. Theory and where the rubber really meets the road. So when we have these engagements, both parties benefit. Specifically, Governor and your team, on the matter of sand harvesting. And this is a matter that is at the heart of every person in Kitui County. Let us all do what we have to do. Really, do what we have to do, because unfortunately, our county seems to be turning into a desert in our time when we are watching. There are things we can do, there are things we can never allow to continue happening in that county in respect of that sand harvesting. Forget the revenues that we realize from the sand. Let's also be concerned about the conservation and the environment now and into the future. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Wambua. I pray and hope that in a few years you'll be sitting where the governor is sitting. I also pray and hope that when you are sitting there, I will not be sitting here, because I will be on the opposition, on the government side, on the government side in the Senate. Okay. I've been in opposition for far too long. Correct. So
Chair,
from your mouth to God's ears.
Yes.
Chair, on a lighter note, is the governor supporting Wambua for governor?
It is at that point that the meeting was adjourned. This meeting is adjourned. We shall take a very short break, about 3 minutes, to allow the delegation from Kitui to exit and for the other delegation to come in. So the meeting is adjourned. We wish you a safe journey home.